Hari Om, everybody.
Prayer, that'd be wonderful.
Sorry, Swamiji.
Start with the prayer.
Oh, sure, Swamiji. Sana Bhavatu, is that okay?
Perfect, perfect.
Sure, Swamiji. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om and welcome to our intellectual development session. I remember in the morning we had somebody speaking to us about how a ship cannot stay at the dock forever. It has to start its sail. And we are in that last bit of engineering that's required, and then we are good to go. Right? So once again, I welcome each and everybody here. And as always, I would like to begin with some of my one of my personal incident that would help us go through this session as well. And that was when I was doing my UG, that is my BCom. In college we have these soft skill trainers coming from outside and spending with us some 2-3 days of time, and we have continuous sessions of theirs. So one of the trainer, he walked in and nobody was interested. Okay, nobody was interested. We all were looking at each other, laughing, giggling, talking. Didn't bother even if he has come, we should stand up. I mean, it was all, we were also in a different mindset. Even he just walked in and stuff. And he began talking, yet no, but none of us stopped talking. We continued. Okay. And then suddenly something happened. Suddenly we all kept quiet because he said something very important, or rather very interesting, I should say. And that was, you know what, in these 2 days of my training, I'm going to be giving you a book. And this book, when I give you, please just put it in the top shelf. When you go back home, you have the shelf of books, just throw it in the top shelf. So when he said that, we were like, huh, what is he saying? Does he know what he's saying? Does he realize what he's saying? And then he said the second thing, that so first he asked, when I said that, will you all do it? And we all were also shamelessly saying, okay, if this is what you want us to do, we will go and just throw this or keep this in our top shelf. And then he said, okay, very good, but the second thing is, I'll be asking you to write something in here, and for that you have to be honest. See, remember, anyway you're going to go to your home and just throw it anyway, right? You're just going to put it in the shelf. So it doesn't matter anyway, but I just want you to be honest with inside. So that seemed like a good deal to us. And then we wrote it down, whatever it was, we had some questionnaire and anger management and this and all those sort of things were there, and we filled it out honestly and stuff. And then after the end of the 2 day session, he said that, remember I told you the book, where does he have to go? Like to the top shelf. So we all also enjoyed his session that way, saying, oh, this is what he's telling us to do. And then he went on to say that, after a few years, when you happen to take that book back, you will be feeling very happy about it. And that I can guarantee. Okay. And with that smiling face, even we were smiling, he was smiling, everybody was all good to go, and he left. Now, this person is somehow, we had many trainers, soft skill trainers coming in, but this person has somehow stayed in my mind even today. And the very simple reason for it is his approach. He understood that being a college kid, being a college young girls out there, we were not very keen on listening to him. But the way he approached us was somehow so appealing, was somehow so cool, that we went on to do when he made us do all that he wanted us to do, like, fill the form honestly and be truthful to what we are saying and everything. And of course, after that time, so it didn't strike us. But then now we have to look back and think about it. And I'm like, wow, he made us do what he wanted us to do in our style, right? So this is what is crucial for us as well when we are dealing with the seventh and the eighth graders, our approach. Because otherwise, again, because that's the age where they're going to the bodies, I mean, how do I put it, they basically grow, they get into the puberty, they get into their teenage, and all of those things are happening to them, and they have a very different they have a very different mindset. So we need to understand the right approach with which we can deal with them. Yeah. So with this, I would like to get into the intellectual development modules. But before that, yeah. Can I just ask everybody to switch on the videos, please? Just switch on your videos. Thank you. And can you all please just close your eyes and let's be a little honest in here and raise our hands if we think we are intelligent. If you believe that you're intelligent, raise your hand. Please keep your eyes closed. I'm just going to move to all the different slides, all the different windows here. So I'll take a little more time. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay. Right. You may keep your hands down and then open the eyes. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. It was just a question out of curiosity. Thank you. So now I'll just share my screen. Okay. So do you think they are intelligent? You can put your answers in the chat box. Put the answer in the chat box. Do you think he is intelligent? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Do you think he is intelligent? Do you think he is intelligent? Yeah. Yes. Okay. What about him? Okay. All yeses. Acha. Okay. And what about Rabindranath ji? Okay. Yes. 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 And this as well. Just in case you don't know who they are BTS group, the Korean people who are very popular amongst our teenagers today. Okay, great. So we saw here that how people are belonging to different fields, yet they're all intelligent. Right? Okay. So moving ahead, we go on to our session, which is just an overview for this class 7. So we are going to be covering we have just 2 chapters here, which is the types of intelligence and let's create and innovate. And both of it, we will be attempting to take this forward. So as yesterday, the why, what, who, and how, which is why are we included this particular value in this grade? What are the changes we are intending to make in the child? Who are we citing as an example? And how are we getting the children to practice it, right? So that's what is the lessons layout. For this lesson, it would be a very important to discover what you're good at. The intention is so that they strengthen, they make use of the strength to make learning more effective. And who we look up to is there are many real examples given in the VE book itself. And how we practice it is getting covered under habits to develop. So here we have the types of intelligence by Howard Gardner. Now, he was somebody who believed that the biggest mistake of past centuries in teaching has been to treat all students, all students in if they were the variants of the same individual, and thus to feel justified that whatever the way we are teaching could be the same for all the subjects, right? Subjects in the same way. That's the biggest mistake he feels that we are doing. And therefore, he propounded the 9 types of intelligence, and we're going to be seeing them one by one. So here the activities that we have is there will be a questionnaire in the VE book, which we would be having to fill. and also find out about the people who are very high in various intelligences. So again, the examples are already given in the book, and we just have to sort of make it as an activity, or rather ask children to find that out as an activity. So I'll take a moment here to explain how this questionnaire is to be done, right? So as soon as we open the book, this lesson, we have, about what intelligence is and a general introduction, followed by this questionnaire, which is, these are the questions given, and we just have to simply fill whether we do this activity never, rarely, often, or always, right? And each of these has got a score. Okay, so a score which is never is 1, rarely is 2, often is 3, and always is 4. So I think of books as my cherished possessions. For me, it is always. So I would write in the always thing, I would write it as 4. Okay, so likewise, I'll be filling up the entire questionnaire. I think there are around 36 questions which is given. And once I finish doing that, I would be moving on to the next bit, which is simply to map the numbers which I have written for the corresponding to that question to this corresponding table. Okay, so for example, I think of books as my cherished possessions. In my understanding, I always do that. So I would have written 4 under always. So here, when I come into this smaller table here, which says page 22, I would just write 4 under 1. Okay, corresponding to the first question, right? So likewise, I would be filling up that. And just for a little better understanding, I had done this questionnaire myself this morning, and this is just a sample for us to understand. So I had worked it out, and then I said, okay, I just mapped it to this table. So for my first question, I give myself 4. For the 6th question, I would give myself 4 again. For the 18th question, I would just give myself 1. And likewise, when I got the totals here in the bottom. So I scored the highest in intrapersonal and linguistics, and a little lesser in musical and interpersonal, etc. So these were my scores. Okay, and so now we're going to be seeing them one by one. So obviously, your students must also be wondering as to why are we doing what we are doing, and that's where we go on to say that there are these intelligence, and what they mean is what we would be telling them. And I presume that we have already studied this in our BEd, so I'm just gonna little brush up to this. Verbal or linguistic is also known as word smart, wherein people like reading, writing, telling stories, public speaking, etc. We have the mathematical and logical reasoning, which is called as logic smart. So we have solving puzzles, mathematical problems, logical approach, and scientific experiments. They love playing chess because it involves strategy. Music intelligence is called as music smart. We have the rhythm, musical instruments, composing music, going to concerts, etc. I remember when I was in 10th grade, there was this one, we all were struggling with the periodic tables. In chemistry, we have this periodic tables, right? So there was this one chap, one classmate of mine, who had given some music to it. And all of us, because of him, remembered, okay, this is what he means to say, or this is what the periodic table is supposed to be by heart. Because the teacher very clearly told us, saying that this table, the only way is by heart. And all of us were obviously finding it difficult because it had numbers and all of that sort. So this guy came up with a music, and we all could, safely pass the chemistry exam. So likewise, we had spatial or visual intelligence, which was picture smart. The kids who love drawing, painting, they study also with the flow charts, etc. So they come under being picture smart. We have the bodily or body smart, which is more to do with the eye and hand coordination, sports and dance, exercising, acting, outdoor activities, physical adventure. The interpersonal intelligence or people smart are the people who communicate well, verbal or non-verbal, understand others' feelings, empathize easily, make friends very easily. They volunteer for various events, and they work as a team. We have self-smart people who are a little more introspective. They like reflecting. They clearly understand their goals. They're independent thinkers, very imaginative, and strong-willed. Naturalist intelligence, which is nature smart, where people love being around surroundings, changes in weather, climatic fluctuations, are all of those things which interest them. I remember being a kid, I was somebody who would always love talking, right? Like being a verbal person, I would always like talking. So whenever we used to travel, I would like to spend the time talking or discussing certain things. And my mom would always tell me, "Vidi, why don't you look outside the window?" And I used to always argue with her, saying, "What's there to look outside the window? It's just trees." So somebody like me could really never appreciate, only until, of course, we grow up and then we understand the we understand his creation and we start appreciating things. But as a child, I would always be like, it's just a tree, it's the same tree which is coming again and again. I didn't even know that there was different kinds of trees which is there. So then we have existential or spiritual intelligence, thought smart, the purpose of the world, who is God, why is our birth, or why have you taken a birth, and what is the awareness of higher intelligence governing this world. Are such kind of thoughts is known as existential or spiritual intelligence. This ninth intelligence has been recently found out by him. Until then, it was mainly known as the eighth intelligence or the multiple intelligence, were just eight. This is the ninth one. Okay, so we saw that we have various kinds of smartness or various kinds of intelligences, and the best part about it is that one person may be music smart as well as bodily smart, right? One person can be interpersonal and intrapersonal. Okay, so that's the again, we can vary, but predominantly whatever it is what will help us understand how we take things forward, right? So yeah, so it doesn't matter how smart you are, but what smart you are. Okay, so now may I ask this question as to how many of you think you are intelligent? I would just like to stop sharing my screen for a bit. And now can I have all your videos on and tell me how many of you now think that you all are intelligent? Oh yeah, of course, close your eyes, please. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, yes. Okay. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Close your eyes and just tell me how many of you think you're intelligent. Okay, people are raising hands. Okay. Okay, wonderful. Big round of applause for all the participants. Right. Um, so thank you so much. And now you may open your eyes. Uh, okay. Now, some of the habits that we need to develop is like my predominant intelligence would be interpersonal, intrapersonal, verbal, and existential intelligence. So, what do I do with it? I do spend my time during the day. I understand the emotions of others before conveying my thought. I read books that help me improve my vocabulary, and I engage myself in discussions about life and death. So, there are certain habits or there are certain intelligence where I would seek some improvement, and that is, of course, naturalistic is one, visual is another, and logical or neural. So for which I try watching videos to understand some complex theory. I go for a walk and observe nature around. I play Sudoku or such logical games which help me deal with numbers more. Um, what can you do? Use the strength to make learning more effective. For example, if you think that your strengths are spatial, if you're a very spatial person, then you can go ahead and draw and learn for your various educational stuff. When it comes to linguistic, you can write and learn or even teach your friends. So the learning is one. And another aspect or another example for spatial is like, when we are traveling, there'll be this one person, like for example, this happens with me quite often, wherein I try to pack all the bag, but it never happens. I'm like, why is this boot so small, And that's why my brother would come in and very easily he'll just adjust it, some things here and there, and he will make it fit. Why? Because probably he has got more spatial intelligence than me, right? So spatial intelligence is also about how well are we able to space out things in terms of understand the space well. Okay, so like if I ask you in a room, how many children do you this room? Let's say 20 by 10 square feet. How many students you think can fit? Or certain things like that. Linguistic, write and learn, teach your friends, strengthen your weaknesses by working for it. So let's say if my weakness is spatial when I don't understand, so I start by learning simple drawings or rangoli or such things, wherein I slowly start to appreciate and work out on the space given to me. Bodily or intrapersonal, I would participate in more cultural events and go in for things like adzab and jump charades, wherein more of my hand and eye coordination is required. Our checklist comes here where we have to understand different types of intelligence, feel everybody is intelligent and accept the way they are, develop on your strengths and identify possible career paths suiting our intelligence. Assessment could be find out more examples of the 9 types of intelligence and discuss it with your classmates in the next PE class. Make the children fill the questionnaire every 2 months because, like I said, for me, nature was never my thing as a child, but now I've started slowly appreciating nature, and I'm the one who sits out and spends some time at the window pane looking at the trees. Right? It's in fact the same tree standing tall, but I would still enjoy looking at it. right? So every 2 months exercise would be a good one to assess ourselves. Um, and we move on to our next thing. But just one point I want to add here is that examples. So if you see if you have read through the lesson, you will know that there are some examples given after every intelligence. Okay, so for a bodily smart, we have some of the examples already given in the book. So the teacher is free to ask the child to know more about them in terms of, how did they, like for example, let's say an actor. So how did his acting career got built, and what are the things that he did. Like I remember Hrithik Roshan in one of his interviews had said that he used to fumble, or he used to mispronounce certain words. Like he didn't have that clarity in speech. So he used to practice something of talking to, he used to spend some time learning the art of talking clearly. So he used to, look at himself in the mirror and shout, so that slowly his tongue, or the whole part of it works better, and he becomes a better speaker. So this was the one thing that they did. So likewise, the kids can be encouraged to find out certain, um, uh, how the people improved upon their respective intelligence and worked harder. So yeah, moving ahead with our next lesson, which is let's create and innovate. It's the lesson 13 under independent thinking. The lesson layout is why, what, who, and how again. So this is just for us to be clear with what we are trying to deliver to the students. And in my understanding for this lesson, it's all about the more you use our creativity, the more we have. What we intend is children to think out of the box, and who we look up to is, again, many examples are already given in the book, so we can sort of cite those people as the example. How do we get there? Get scouted in the habits, right? So class arrangement is make groups of 6 each, the 6 thinking hats that we have. And I would suggest that before you start with this class, just make the groups already. Like just ask them to be seated in groups of 6 each. So probably there would be 4 to 5 groups, I guess. So yeah. Now story narrative here goes by just saying that how creativity requires originality, surprise wherein solution is not a very obvious thing, and usefulness, of course, because only when it has its utility does it have its value. So creativity consists of originality, surprise, and usefulness. And it goes by the story of somebody has to address the students, and how he gives the example of a real life example stating that about Mansukh Prajapati ji, who who used to make utensils out of earthen pots and earthen material, and he used to have everything like clay water dispenser, clay pressure cooker, clay tawa, all of those things. And he also came up with something called a Smitty Cool refrigerator. Okay, so that was a pretty interesting thing. And also now he's coming up with Mitti House. So all of these are the things which a person does when you think out of the box. So that story is quite elaborately mentioned in the book. We go on directly to the activities here. So activity is spin a yarn, which I would like to try with at least 2, 3, or maybe 3 or 4 volunteers. May I do that now? Very quickly, can I have everybody unmuted? Veena, I think I'll seek your help here. Okay. Is it possible now, Amma? Can I?
Yeah, you can ask them to unmute. No? You want
Yeah,
all
okay.
or only specific?
No, all of them can just unmute. That's not a problem. So the whole story is, I mean, it's I'll give you just one line, and you will have to come up with your imaginative skill and complete the story, or rather, just add one bit to the story. So I'll say one sentence. Let's say Premama tells the next sentence. Then we might have Radha Didi telling the third sentence like it. So I might call out anybody's name. Okay, this is just so that our creativity is boosted up. And yeah, somebody is saying that they can't unmute.
Yeah, one sec, I'll just do it. I'll do one sec. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, no problem, Mama. Okay, so very quickly, the sentence is,
now they can unmute.
I had a dream. Can I have CVS person's name? Yeah.
In the dream, I saw my country.
Okay, thank you. Just one sentence. Wonderful. So can I have Premama continue? Sir, can you please? Thanks.
Echoing. Can you repeat the sentence?
Yeah, so I said I had a dream, and Sir said that he has a dream about India. So go ahead, continue.
To be a leader for all the whole universe.
Okay. All right. Radhavati, you want to try this? Are you there? Okay.
To
Can I
have
just go on audio?
brotherhood.
Sorry.
Can I just go on audio?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you repeat the sentence till now?
It's like my test which is happening. What is this? Okay, fine. I think we'll have to pause because I think there's a lot of echo happening. People are unmuting and
No, I have curtailed the echo. Don't worry.
we'll sort this out now later. It's already 4:25. So let me go ahead. But yeah, the purpose of this was just to give us an idea as to how this could be conducted in the class, and also we would have fun with the children coming up with imaginative, and just one small rule that the story should be in sync. And obviously we have to ensure that the sentence starts as a sentence. You can't have suddenly two or any random stuff coming in it has to have that sentence structure. Okay, so I'm glad that we all tried, and kudos to the volunteers. We go ahead with our presentation. Okay, so again, so we next is the sixth thinking hats, which is again a pretty good stuff, where white is stands for people who go by the facts. So in any discussion that we have at any time, there's okay. I think can you please just mute everybody?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Sorry.
One sec. Yeah, that's okay. You're the co-host, so I think you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1 minute. There's no mute everyone, so I don't know.
No, I think that one second. Hold on. There is. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Now you can unmute yourself, right?
You are also muted.
Who's muted?
Vidi unmute.
She's a co-host. She can
Yeah.
unmute.
Okay, I unmuted myself. Okay. Am I good to go?
Yes, we can hear you.
Super. Right.
The intimation came a little late, that's all.
See you again. Oh, yeah. Right, Amma. So we're talking about the six thinking hats, wherein if we have to just a little bit on a retrospect, if we understand that, whenever we're having a discussion, there's always somebody who talks about factual information. Right, there will always be somebody who is full of positivity and who will say that, okay, let's do this, when are we starting? Or there'll be somebody who takes a decision based on emotion, which is they take an emotional decision. And then we have somebody who's very creative, who comes up with some amazing creative ideas, right? And then we have someone who will be, who will have a little, who will look at all the weak spots, who will look at all the loopholes, saying, this is not right. How will we do this? How will this be, how will this be practically possible? So all of these kind of different types of thinkers is where we have this concept of six thinking hats, for which we have all these colors. And again, their description is given in our book. And so now what are we doing with those? Well, with the groups that we made in the first class, remember, in the beginning of the class. So we're just going to give them this problem. Like, let's say there is no waste segregation at school. And there are these groups of 6 members each. So one would play the role of a yellow hat, one would play the role of a white hat. So likewise it goes. And they, at the end of the class, they have to present saying, what each of them have thought through. Okay. So that's about. Okay. That's about. Shouldn't have played that game. People, please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, so right. So a couple of incidences are already given. 4 or 5 of them are already given in the book. Some of the habits we can develop is what I do, which is try to be creative with my teaching style. So here is a little okay. So even teaching needs its innovation, right? It needs a little bit of innovation. So whenever it comes to conducting a quiz, I use these apps like Quizzes or Mentimeter. Taking attendance of my class. So I do that through asking a question. That is. I would say that, what do you like about a leader? So they would say, like, for example, they would say, Akshaya, team building. Then Anugraha, they would say, they listen to everybody. So like that. So that way, in attendance order, I take the attendance. And yeah, so even the nature, if you remember, if you were present the second day, you would know that how I had asked you all about the nature thing, that what would you like to be of from the nature. So that way everybody in attendance order would come up and say their perspective. So then virtual hi-fi that we did again on another day, but in case you missed it, virtual hi-fi is this, virtual handshake is this, and virtual fist bump is this. Okay, so this is again something I do it with our online classes. And another thing that we have done is the glory of ancient India in attendance order again. So what I have done is that in a class, that they would have to, in the attendance order, they'll have to look out for a glory of ancient India. So we've had many things like what Saraswati civilization has come up. We've had about the Rig Veda that has come up, and various things. We've had people coming in, finding out about it. So each just one piece of information, nothing elaborate, but just one piece of information. They have to come and they have to post the picture in the WhatsApp group, so for all of us to read. So it's so that way the entire class gets to know about it, and it's all a collective learning that's happening apart from our core subjects. So that's one bit of the an attempt to make things innovative. What you can do is identify a need and come up with a completely new product or a service. Examples could be a new method of learning the periodic tables, the math formulae, trying to find out different ways of using an object, etc. You can also, just a very small thing of mobile paper being, like a paperweight. So such things where we also call it as jugaad, right? It's in Hindi, it's quite popular. Innovation is quite popular as jugaad. So such things. And the three H's which has come up: the head, heart, and hand. Know what is creativity, meaning thinking out of the box. Appreciate the importance of creativity, appreciate the importance of innovation, and let's enhance on our creativity skills. So assessment could be make them draw their dream house, if not with bricks and walls. Okay, so they can have their dream house without the use of bricks and walls. They shouldn't be there, and if not for it, what would be their dream house look like? Use a waste plastic bottle into something innovative. The homework could be given is that, a case can be given. Like, let's say that you being in a group of say 2 or maybe 3, uh, you have to pack 4 muffins. Okay, you have to pack 4 muffins. So what unique style of packaging would you come up with? So likewise, some cases can be given, and the kid and the students can come up. It can either be, this particular activity, I would suggest that let's have at least a pair, not just individual, because otherwise it may get difficult for the child. So a pair or a group of 4 would be helpful. Yeah, so with this we complete our grade 7. Okay, it's 4:30. Fine. We move on to class 8, which is just an overview. It's on time management, wherein the lessons in class 8 on intellectual development are 3. One is on time management. We have how engaged are we digitally. Second is on aesthetics, that is let's be inspired. And the third is on independent thinking. We have Dhyan Chand's story, the India's hockey legend. So through this session, we're going to be covering these 2. Okay, so how engaged are we digitally, right? Now, I would have started this class by saying, of course, we have the lesson layout. Understand the harmful effects of social media is the reason why we want them to learn about this at this age. Then we have what we intend is the moderate use of social media, the teacher to share her experience, or ask the students to identify and talk if they have such people in their family who are either overindulged or who are very careful about using the social media. Then we have how, which is getting covered under the habits to develop. So class arrangement that we require is just this piece of we just need a book. I would before saying the story, I would ask a couple of questions, saying how many of us have mobile phones, like our own mobile phones. How many of us have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat accounts? How many of us are very active on these platforms, and how many of us enjoy the likes and comments that we get? So how many hours do we spend on the social media, including the after bedtime? Because the bedtime can be 10 p.m., but even lying on the bed, keeping the lights off, they might be on the phones. So ask the child to speak about that as well. That after totally how many hours is he spending on social media. We have this story depicting through a newspaper headlines that blows a girl's mind, and she comes into the class and discusses that with their friends who are also very active on social media. So they have a nice discussion in the classroom. and they understand a couple of things, like they understand the effects, the negative impact which the social media can have, and also those things which can be done to stay protected, to stay safe on the internet. Because we are not saying that, you come out of your Facebook accounts and you delete all your accounts. That's not what we are, that's not what's the intention of this chapter. It's all about practicing moderation when you are on the internet, because today, internet has become inevitable, but not the social media, right? So that's something which we need to strike, which we need to tell them to strike a balance for. So keep your privacy settings up to date, and again, the list of it is already given in the story. The debate would be, is negative influence of digital media hyped? So that's a debate which we can conduct in the classroom. Habits to develop would be that I set a limit on my data usage. So for me, okay, right now, that because I'm taking classes, I don't set it. But earlier I did. I used to, when I was preparing for my net exam and all, I used to ensure that I have a limit on on my data usage. I keep my notification off for the social media platform. I used to schedule the watching of web series only for the weekends. That was like a rule which I had said, that it's only on the Friday nights and Saturday nights that I get to be on my web series. I keep my data switched off before sleeping. So these are the few things which I do, because again, in the lesson it is told about how vibrations and the blue light and all of that affect our body and affect the normal rhythm of the functioning of the body. So all of those are mentioned. So keeping that in mind is where these are the practices which I follow. What you can do is start reading books, the physical ones. It has its own joy. Schedule a day and keep the minimum amount of time for social media, definitely not more than 30 minutes. If the tendency is to overstay on the internet, try reducing the time by 15 minutes every week. Like, let's say I have totally been on the internet, or I've totally been on the social media, just by 10 minutes you start reducing, slowly. So that way we will get through to come to 30 minutes. Right. And use apps like time planner. That is in the time planner app, you can schedule, you can do your to-do list, your time tracker, and all of that. So after a month or so, it'll show you that how much, it'll have a what is it called, pie chart. It'll have a pie chart as to how much of time you have spent on what are the activities. Okay, so that is one thing that a child can take up to doing. And another one is to lock the phone, in the sense that there'll be this timer sort of thing. We just have to look for those kind of apps which has got set a setting wherein, let's say that I am working for 3 hours, and for that I don't want to see my phone. So I can set a timer for 3 hours, and there my phone gets locked. So until 3 hours, I will not. Okay. Until 3 hours, I will not be able to operate my phone. Yeah. Is it Swamiji who's talking?
Vidhi,
No,
Yes,
no, no, I'm
I'm
not.
just gonna mute all, okay, Vidhi?
Yeah, please do
You
it.
will
No?
have to unmute yourself, okay?
Yeah, I will do. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I,
Yes, Swamiji.
I think the sound is from your background itself. That's why I was not saying anything. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. So what you can do, start reason. Okay. Yeah, and this for lock phone apps is again a brilliant thing, wherein if you set the timer for say 3 hours, your phone gets locked. So even if you really, of course, the calls is an exception. If you receive a call, you can definitely take the phone, but otherwise you will not be able to operate it for those 3 hours. So that way it helps us set our mind away from using our phones. Our checklist comes again. So we have understand the harmful effects of too much exposure to social media. Feel, which is indulgence, is beneficial only if it is moderate, and manage their rate of exposure to social media. So that's about our checklist. The assessment that comes in here is about, sorry. Yeah. Make a graphical representation of the amount of time you spend on various activities. So those activities can be listed as studies, playing, social media, sleeping, and you can have a check on the graphs that can be submitted every month to the teacher. Any new friend or follow on your social media platform, ensure that you know them personally, and only then you're confirming the request. And also you keep your parents informed, and teachers can talk about it in their PTA, just to sort of ensure that the children are secure with this social media world. Next we have is our Dhyan Shanji. I have 6 minutes, and I'm just going to make a small attempt to finish this because this, again, I feel is a pretty important chapter talking about the goal setting. So I'm just going to be taking a little quick, but the lesson layout we are aware of. Then we have the class arrangement, which needs a VE book, a piece of paper for making goal statement, magazines, photos, newspaper art for our vision board. The story narrative is all about, where do you see yourself after 5 years? Where do you see yourself after 10 years? How do you, how do you basically know which team has won the football match? The one who has scored the most, right? So, or how do you know if somebody has lived a beautiful life? That's by when they have achieved on their aspirations. So these are the parameters where we understand whether the person is successful or not. So the story talks about Dhyan Chand ji. Okay, he's into Olympics and all of that. The activities that we are here, which is a pretty important part of it, is the vision board. So vision board is, again, maybe we can ask all the children to get a chart paper, and they can have what is it that they really like doing. Probably right now they might not be in a position to be very ambitious of what they want to do, but we can slowly help them understand as to what are your likes all about. So like, let's say you look up to a person for his you look up to Captain Cool for the way he handles all the situations so patiently or also calmly, right? So that can be my inspiration. So you have the pictures of the inspiring people which inspire you in that respective field, or you can also have people, the quotes which they have said and that inspires you a lot. Like keep smiling is one quote which always inspires me. So it can be quotes, it can be these things, and also you can have the newspaper cutouts which makes it look more creative. So like, let's say, if you had a cutout of the L letter for like or love and such kind of things you've done. So vision board makes it really very beautiful and creative, and all that we have to request them to do is to, once the vision board is made, to hang it in their study table or a place where they see it every day. So this reminds them to stay focused, this reminds them to be at the goal. Yeah. And the second thing that we can do is the goal statement, which is the acronym for which is SWEET. So that's about saying about Swadharma, we, not me, ethical, effective, and time. So here again, the instructions are given quite in detail in our teacher's handbook. The habits to develop, I make use of the sticky notes and write my goals there. Especially again, while I was preparing for the net, I had sticky notes all over my study table. I read about people who have achieved their goals and their difficulties that they faced. Again, an important point that it's sort of initially it's a task for us to even tell them that why they need to have a goal. But once that's done, the second tougher task rather is that to tell them that it's not an easy thing, but it's not an impossible thing also. That is something which we need to sort of drill into them, because no goal is easy in life. It's all about not stopping. It's all about perseverance, correct? So that's something which we need to do. And again, coming back, I used to read about people who have had tough times clearing the net exam, and what is it that they went wrong with, or how did they improve, and how did they find out where should they improve upon. So all of those were those things which can be done by the children also. What you can do is keep working on your vision board, talk to people who have similar ideas as yours, because it will help us give a new insight. So yeah. And what if I fail to achieve my goals is where keep seeking and the goal gets nearer, keep walking and the path gets clearer. We have our checklist. Understand the importance of having goals, appreciate that striving to achieve goal makes one lead a meaningful life, and set both short-term and long-term goals so that it's easier to proceed ahead. So ask the students to have short-term and long-term goal statement, encourage them to self-evaluate it and submit their reports. So with this, we conclude our session. Thank you so much. Hari Om. Uh, in case anybody has questions, please put it in the chat box. One. Sharda Amma, I just saw your message. Can you please go a little bit slow? Sorry. Is there any one particular aspect that you want me to repeat, Sharda Amma? I would do that for you.
Thank you so much, Vidi,
Thank you so
for
much.
doing that management session today. And you really demonstrated it again, right, by finishing just before time, 1 minute before time. That was fantastic. And of course, you covered so many of the points. That was really nice. And not just that, bringing in your personal experiences and telling stories is a wonderful way of starting our sessions, and all that it immediately connects to the audience. That is also very, very beautiful. So thank you very much. Right. And she told all of us about how much to use digital media and all that. This year, all of us were forced to use so much of it. Hopefully, with the end of Corona and with the continuation of regular school, I'm sure that we won't need to sit like this in front of the computers. So with this, we come to the end of the 4 days of our training program, right? And I hope all of you have really benefited from this particular program. In fact, this has been a training program of a very different kind. Many training programs are usually short and maybe 3 hours a day or something like that. This training program we started at 8:40 in the morning and straight went to 4:45 in the evening. Right? 4 days of marathon sessions. Of course, the idea was to have different teachers participating in different classes. But we always knew that there would be some of us who would be attending all the sessions. So first of all, my congratulations to all of you, all the participants who so patiently, with so much interest, with so much energy, attended these 4 days of program, and I'm sure that we would have benefited in so many different ways. Just to end with this particular thought, that we are people who are so much, what do we call it, privileged, because we are in the profession of touching people's lives, and that is what is most amazing and most beautiful about all our lives. So from, as I always mention, from being a teacher, let us also, like what Gurudev told us, expected us to be, let us also reach the next step and we actually become transformers. Gurudev envisioned that all of us, or Gurudev envisioned that Chinmaya Vidyalayas, of course, has to be schooled with a difference, and not just that, Gurudev envisioned that our youngsters would be the heroes of tomorrow. Gurudev wanted our children not just to be successful in their personal lives, they wanted to shape our country. At some places, Gurudev has said India has lost its intellectuals. So Gurudev expected our children to come up and be intellectuals of the right order, right? And we are a sacred culture, we are a spiritual culture, so Gurudev wanted our children to take this forward. Gurudev started our schools not to be just schools which has the maximum number of branches across the country. But Gurudev created our schools very, very clearly. Gurudev used to say that Gurudev created the school so that this school could be an example for every other school. So in a city, if there is a Chinmaya Vidyalaya, that Chinmaya Vidyalaya should become example of how every other school should run, and we should touch them by the inspiration we create through the transforming work that we do with our children. So this way, we have a great opportunity to bring in so much transformation. We are all working, that is really wonderful. And now with Life in Aradhana book, we can do so much more, and let us achieve this particular purpose. So first of all, we thank all the participants. And yes, of course, we should all clap for each other. It is most important that we appreciate all of us, everybody. It was very, very beautiful. Thank you very much. Secondly, it is not enough how much we thank all the people who conducted the sessions, right? We are all sitting here fully dedicated with the sessions. The people who conducted the sessions are doing their own profession. They are not teachers in any particular school or anything. They are all Yuva Kendra members. And not just that, they are all doing different their own professions and work and all that. For example, Vidi is a professor. So she finishes her college at 3:30 in the afternoon, and 3:45 she is there with us, right, to conduct her session. So a whole day done, and this is the last session that she does for the day. And between that, she prepares and all that. And of course, she sends me messages at around 11:45 at night saying this is done and that is done and all that. So much of the work that goes on, which is fantastic. That's really, really nice. So like that, each person, we saw their energy, we saw their commitment towards the cause, right? So that is the most beautiful thing. So we really thank all the people who conducted the session. Thank you very much. And of course, to our Chinmay Education Cell, right? We have been Amma right here, who has been coordinating, communicating with all of us and inspiring us, encouraging us to be participating. So there are two other people there, Priyanka, and we thank them as well. And of course, Shanti Amma, who has been behind as a director, she's been taking this forward, doing different programs, right? For somebody who is inspired, corona or no corona makes no difference. Correct? That is absolutely true. And even during this lockdown, so many wonderful programs has happened through the Chinmay Education Cell, and thanks to them that we are able to participate and we are able to get this thing going. And most importantly, we also thank all the principals. Right. So we thank all the principals who have what do we call that, permitted us to be part, who have selected us to be part of this particular training program, and they also understand how important it is. Swami Mitranji, who has conceived this idea and created this Life in Aradhana program, that is most beautiful. And Meenama, I'm sure, will give us the statistics now as to how many people actually attended each day. I'm sure more than 1,000 people have attended this particular program, right? So thanks to all of you, and we'll meet you in the next session. But before that, I would hand over to Meenama. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. You said all that I wanted to tell. So on behalf of Chinmay Education Cell, I would, like Swamiji rightly said, first of all, thank all the principals for permitting you to stay a day off from school and sit here and be part of this whole beautiful exercise. Yeah. And of course, the participants to be willingly, attend this session, write down notes, participate, keep the energy till the end. All of that is important when we attend a session. And of course, the resource people, each one of them, starting from Swamiji, the first session in the morning, then we had Sanatan Bhaiya, who was equally energetic, and then we had Gayatri, we had Harsha, we had Rohini. I don't want to miss out anybody's name. So Rohini, and then Radha, and of course Vidi in the end, and to top it all, Shanti Amma also. So we thank each one of you for all the effort that you have taken, all your beautiful dedication. And I just hope all that rubs off on all our participants, and each of you have something to take back and implement. Like I always say during the CVP sessions, all our learning is known only when we implement. So please implement at least a handful of ideas and grow from there. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. And of course, a very, very big thanks to Swami Mitrananda, who has conceived this beautiful program. And just like how Shanti Amma mentioned this morning, it feels like really a yajna. I'm feeling sad it's coming to an end. So it has been wonderful. Thank you all very much. Right? And as for statistics, we are almost thousands, or maybe.
Okay.
Because we had definitely more than 1,000 people who had registered. We had approximately 400 on an average each day, but then 400 did not attend every day. So it was kind of fluctuating from between 280 and 300. And then today, I think somewhere around 250 to 260, but still not bad. When we spread the message, we'll have more people with us who are doing what we are doing and making our Vidyalayas, the schools, with a difference. So thank you so much, everybody. Very happy. And please do write to us. The feedback form has been repeatedly posted in the chat box. So please download, fill it up and send it back. And as Shanti Amma mentioned, do work on your presentations and send that also. You may send it to info@Chinmay Education Cell itself or directly to Shanti Amma, doesn't matter. Yeah? Okay. Anything else, Swamiji?
I think we should end with Chinmaya Mission pledge
Sure.
and Purnamada. Okay. So my request all of you to please rise, stand up, keep your camera up, keep your hands on your chest, and can I request Meena to chant the pledge, please? Is that okay? Meena,
You lead, Swamiji, because my camera, I think I have to hold it with one hand. I'm not sure what to do.
echo from somewhere. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all our tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May Thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is a devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.